Hello everybody, my name is Zen, and today we're going to talk about how the transmog system works within Diablo 4. The reason why this even needs to be a video is because, well, it's fairly in-depth and there's a lot going on here, so I figured it's worth extrapolating what exactly the system is doing and how you're able to go into it and set up your custom wardrobes as you see fit. Your ensembles here are basically slots that you can save. So this is an ensemble that I have saved here. We can purchase a new one for 2,500, and the next one it goes up. So I think doubles each time, and that's fine. It's whatever, you know, to be able to purchase another slot. The fact that we even have multiple slots is really nice. If you've played Diablo 3, you know that when you set your transmog and you pick up a new piece of gear, you then have to go and retransmog that new piece of gear. That is not the case here. If I pick up a new piece of gear, it keeps my current looks. It seems to be with the exception of weapons at the moment. Whether or not that is intentional, it could be something to do with the beta. And of course, this is still in beta, so it may change by the time the game actually launches. But this is how it is currently. So as you would expect, you can go in and change the look of a bunch of different pieces. And the way you collect the looks, the styles that you're going through is by, let's go ahead and discard that, is by taking these items and salvaging them. So for example, if I wanted to get, I don't actually have any items here that I could get the thing, but you would go over to a blacksmith. It doesn't matter what blacksmith it is. And when you salvage an item, it is going to give you that look. Now, the thing is, legendaries are a little different because when it comes to a legendary item, I suppose you could go salvage it. But the thing is, there is a whole NPC called the Occultist. This is going to be a part of how legendaries work, which I'll talk about in a separate video. But essentially what you need to know is it's kind of like Diablo Immortal. You can go in and save the thing that is on the legendary item. So in this case, I gain increased armor for 4 seconds when I deal any form of damage, stacking up to 25%. It's pretty cool little effect. There's also like this one, when I break stealth with an attack, I drop a cluster of exploding stun grenades, blah blah blah. These kind of effects, if you like them, you can essentially go extract the effect, and it puts it into aspects here. And I'm not going to dive in any further into the legendary systems, but what you need to know is at this current time, I have had it happen either that it saves the look of it or that it doesn't. I've had it go both ways. So I'm assuming that the intention is that it will save the look of that legendary item when you extract it. However, it's possible that may not necessarily end up being the case. Who knows? Like I said, I've had some save and some not. It may be a bug, or it may be intended that only certain ones are saved. So you have your slots, as I mentioned. We're going to go ahead and select a empty slot here when we, I'm going to save it for now so that I'm not messing this up. But when we go in and we change things, there's the different slots that you can change, right? So we can like change this cool plague doctor one or this one, or you could set it to whatever the item is that it actually looks like on your character. So if I'm wearing a legendary helm, it looks like that. If I'm wearing, oh, that's a cool chest piece. I like that. Actually, that's the first time I've seen that one. Yeah, well, we'll keep that on. It kind of matches what we got going on. And then same thing with all of the other gloves and whatnot. You could switch pieces out. It's really, I mean, you're not gonna be able to transmog a ring, right, or an amulet, but you could do all of the armor pieces. This is different than in, say, let's go ahead and save this slot real quick. Boom, boom, boom. This is different than, say, in Diablo 3, because in Diablo 3 you had belts and you had pieces that you just couldn't transmog, like bracers. You don't have those pieces here. You only have what you see on the character screen. So every normal armor piece can actually be transmogged, minus the jewelry, which you would expect. So let's go. You notice that the dye changed. We'll talk about that in a bit, but essentially you've got all of these different looks. I could change that to the default look, which yeah, that's pretty okay. I like it because it matches like the legendary looks that we've got going on here. Same with those pants. So we'll just like basically set this up as like, hey, this is what my legendaries look like. Now, the key here, and one thing I need to point out, is you can change the pigments. So I can change these boots to purple or black, and these are like default unlocks for these pigments. I'm expecting that there might be more later on. We'll talk about the unlocks for looks later, but as you could tell, like you can either set it so it's default, unequipped, or you can put it as the default, or whichever one that you're selecting plus a dye. Normally you would be able to go in and click apply all to all this stuff, but the thing is, you can't do that to effects that you don't own. So like, I don't own this Bone Weaver armor because I either need to salvage it or go in and take the legendary effect out of it in order to get the style. And I don't have this look. I can't do any pigment on it. But if I go back to this first one that we had, this is something we can do. So let's swap this to what it was. I think it was just unequipped. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. But if I go into here, now you can see that because I have it as a different piece. Like I said, to this one, for example, I can hold left click and it'll apply the dye to all the pieces. And then I can go in and like customize it as I see fit. Like having that cool like contrast, green, purple and whatnot. I like that. Or you could just, again, go in and just dye everything. As long as these pieces that you have are set to a look, then you can dye them, because you have to own the look, which is totally fine. I don't see any issue with that. Here's the thing. Diablo 4 is going to have a bunch of cosmetic items through the use of doing seasons. Now, seasons are going to be coming post-launch, but there will be a battle pass, and you're not going to be gaining. You can't buy into the battle pass and then be gaining a bunch of extra power. Like, for example, in Diablo Immortal, if you get the battle pass in Diablo Immortal for the $5 or $10 or whatever dollars it is, you then get a bunch of stuff for your character to make you more powerful. That's not actually going to happen here. If you buy into the battle pass for Diablo 4, as what they have said so far, you are going to be getting just more cosmetic items, more unlocks and stuff like that. And I am all for it because, man, the one thing that has let me have the desire to play every single Diablo 3 season, despite being very busy at different parts of my life during the last like 28 seasons or whatever it is, has been the unlocks of cosmetic stuff. And I love that kind of stuff. So I'm totally down for it. Additionally to all of this stuff, there is we'll go ahead and discard that. There is the appearance thing that you can change. So you can go in and change a bunch of stuff on your character, but it doesn't look like at this point you could change hair. So you could change basically everything else. If you like don't like your tattoos or something or how they look, you can go in and take those off, which is totally fine. There's a lot here, so if your character doesn't look the way that you want them to look, it makes sense that you'll be able to come and change this kind of stuff. Again, the only thing that you can't change is hairstyle, which I guess that's okay. I think overall, I like that. Actually, can I go ahead and why is my thing here? There we go. And now let's save that. I think that overall, if you wanted to change the hairstyle, it's going to be kind of a niche thing that players would do. I mean, I would prefer if it was an option, sure, but I think it is going to be a niche thing because a lot of the time you're just going to have a helmet on, right? And maybe that's what their thinking is on that as well. Who knows? Maybe post-launch, it'll be capable of changing your hair. I could see a lot of people being more vocal about that kind of change once it's in just the standard player's hands as opposed to people jumping in on the beta. But yeah, that's how the transmog system works. It's pretty cool. I think it is a good upgrade to what Diablo 3 had, and it takes some things from other games that have similar transmog systems and elevates it. It makes it really cool. I like the dye system. I do like that there are restrictions to like being able to dye legendary items. Like if I put this back to the default look or whatever it was, which is just not showing up on that weird bug there. So let's go back. There we go. So I can't dye this stuff, but I kind of like that because in my opinion, it means more that you have unlocked a thing. So, you know, you could just be wearing the default item, but if you've gone in and dyed it, you got a really cool transmog set going on, you know the person is collecting cool stuff at that point. And generally speaking, if we look at all of this, I mean, I'm not even level 16 on this character that I've played so far. And I only have like half of the chess piece to go. Whether or not that is how many looks are actually in the game, I highly doubt it. I think that will go up once the game launches. But for the time being, you look at all this stuff that we have, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm really looking forward to new cosmetic stuff being added to the game because the armor is freaking sweet in Diablo 4. It looks great. There's a lot of different kind of styles here. It seems to be that if you want to go with more, you know, for this rogue, if you want to go with a look that is just kind of cool and different than what you would expect, then there are options for that. But there's also your standard like rogue looks as well. So with all that being said, let me know what you think of the transmog system. Does it tickle your fancy, or are you like many others that I know, which just don't care about how your character looks? Personally, I'm of the belief that you do more damage when you look cool, and that you can't convince me otherwise. That is just the way that my brain looks at things, and I think that my character, when she looks cool, when I load this style, yeah, she's doing at least 5 more damage. Not a lot, but it's enough. It makes up for it, right? With all that being said, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot that you could see the transmog on the other side over here. I've only been looking at this because my microphone's in the way, but you know that you could see what has been transmogged in these ensembles if you have all the slots over here. Forgot to mention that. But with all that being said, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you all next time.